another week. We are supposedly in for an absolute scorcher this week. So just been having a nose around the beans. The beans have been so slow to get going this year. These are the Violetta purple ones. We've picked quite a few off them, but as you can see, they're just not happy. Can't get that to focus, but you can see there's small little beans coming, but they're just not happy. And by this time last year, they were completely covering this arch, and the beans were hanging down like this. You can see that's the advantage of them being on the arch. They're all able to be picked really easily. The Greek gigantes are sort of coming along okay now, and the runner beans have really picked up. I thought these were goners to begin with, so yeah, these are coming good now. Last year we grew a variety called Benchmaster, and it was appalling. I mean, we love runner beans, really, really do, and you had to pick them so young so that for them not to be stringy, that they were completely flavourless. And if you let them get, big enough that they would have any oomph to them, you just couldn't chew through them, basically, which was a real disappointment. So we went back to old school Polestar this year, and they've been really good. But there is something a bit strange about them, and I don't know whether it's the weather or not. And they should all be the same variety, like they came out of the same seed packet, so I don't know what's going on. Like one plant on this end here where they're forming their seeds really early. So you see these beans are not big, but they've got really bulky seeds, and they've got this like red stripe up the seam. Can you see this is the red stripy one, and that's how I would expect them to look. Also got more aubergines on the go. These two, which are Black Beauty, and then we've got that lovely little one there, which is Black Pearl. I'll take that home for dinner tonight.
This is really quite strange, because this one's dead. But all the others have been, it seems odd that one should have just died.
How bizarre.
Maybe I forgot to water that one day.
So going to pick a bit of beetroot. I have never grown this kind of multi-sown way before, and when I was pulling them up last week, somebody said to me that, on here actually, that you should twist them and then you don't disturb the ones around. So I'm trying that at the moment, and it seems to be working really well, so thanks loads for that. God, it's hot in here. Right, chilli update. I lost the labels for pretty much all of the chilies this year, which was fantastic. I know this one is a jalapeno because I overwintered it from last year. And we've got black jalapenos. We've got these, which are going to be red long sweet peppers. We have black jalapenos, pretty easy to identify. These are frigatello peppers, but it gets more tricky when we come to these. I have no idea what this one is. I have no idea what this little chap here is, who's appeared out of nowhere, and who's this? Another pointy one. Right, these are the Japanese black trofeli. Can you see they've got this really distinctive shape? They're like narrow at the top with a big bum and quite heavy looking. These are the small pear-shaped. Sundrop. Lovely orange colour, those ones. Actually, that whole box is orange. This is another trofeli, you can see that same shape. Outdoor girl. Who's not outdoors. And I've got a black Russian in here that's ready. I know I go on about black Russian all the time, but it is wonderful. And look at its bum. It's got a beautiful bum. Morning. We are up here really super early this morning because we're avoiding the heat wave, and but we're actually not going to our own allotment. We're going to Chris's up the way because he's got a massive grapevine and we're going to steal some of his grape leaves. Well, we're not actually stealing because we have asked him, but still we're going to take some of his grapevine leaves to make dolmas this afternoon. We do have a grapevine. I don't know if you remember, I planted one about 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, but it doesn't really have enough leaves for us to go nicking a load of them, so we're going to Chris's. So quite a lot of these have got that, is it called grapevine blister mite, I think, but makes no difference to us. We'll just pick cleaner ones. We want the smaller leaves anyway.
Well, that, do you think that's too small?
I think probably ever so slightly bigger than that. Yeah, I've never thought to use fresh vine leaves for making stuffed vine leaves before. In fact, I've never made stuffed vine leaves before, but somebody on Instagram made some the other day just with fresh vine leaves, and I looked it up and it's so simple. It's just a case of blanching them in salt water for a couple of minutes, letting them cool down, and then wrapping them up. So perfect. We're going to have a go with these. I'm quite excited about it actually. There's quite a few just in there. There's 3 good ones there. So here they are. You can see we have picked mainly ones without too many blisters on them. They're caused by a little mite that gets on the other side and disturbs the surface of the leaf, and then it overgrows. You can see them. Can you see them in there? Little like woolly things. I mean, I'm not particularly fussed, and when we blanch them, they won't be there anymore. While I'm up here actually, obviously it's been so hot, just check on the bay leaves. They're looking pretty good. They're like still a little bit flexible, but I'm guessing we've got such hot weather this week coming, like by the end of the week they'll be perfect. Well, we've got the vine leaves, and I've picked up some parsley as well, so that's going to be dinner tonight. It's still wet from when I watered last night, so everything up here should be fine for today. It's going to bake. We can just start feeling the clouds are parting and the temperature's rising really fast, so we're going to head off home. The dolmas were an absolute raging success. So good. We had them with minted potatoes, Greek salad and deep fried breadcrumbed halloumi. You can't get much better than that, really, can you? It's Friday, it's absolutely boiling, sun's not even out and it's 36 degrees. It's just too hot to do anything, so we've come up to just check the chickens are alright, make sure they've got loads and loads of water, and I'm just going to walk around with the hose, water everything. I know you shouldn't really water in the heat, but the sun's not actually out, it's just really hot and things are flagging, so I am going to give them a water, and probably water myself as well. I'm not going to video it. you're just going to have to take my word for it that Friday's a bit of a write-off. It's too hot. Morning. Another absolutely roasting day up here today, so we're up here early again. Really the only things on the list to do is water. Just water, 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 water. But I am going to pick some radishes. We've got about 4, maybe 5 varieties of radishes growing this year, and I've never really been enormously fussed about radishes, if I'm honest. Like, they don't do it for me that much. I quite like them pickled, and they're quite nice in a bit of a salad or whatever, or they're nice just to eat at the plot, you know, just pulling them out of the ground. But often in years previously we've kind of picked them, they go soft so fast that we take them home and they go soft on the sideboard and then they go in the compost bin, to be honest. But 2 things were discovered this year, both actually thanks to either comments on here or on Instagram. Was firstly roasting them, which has been a bit of a revelation. So they're really, really lovely roasted. They have a much nuttier flavour, particularly the white ones roast really, really nicely. And the other one that was a bit of a revelation was eating the seed pods. So, you know, when you sow radishes, particularly if you sow them really, really thickly, some of them just never really form like the radishy bit of the radish underneath. And then we end up they go woody and then they start to go to seed and then we just rip them out. But the ones that I planted over next to the pumpkins, the ones that didn't form radishy bits, I just let go to seed, and the seed pods are a revelation. So I'll show you them in just one second, but just next to me here are a row of radishes doing exactly what radishes should do. I mean, they are good, but a bit limited in, well, I thought they were limited in what you could do with them. So yeah, when they have like gone past and they start flowering, don't just discard them, because when they look like this, they start flowering, and then you get these incredible seed pods. Can you see these? Which are so tasty. So it's very much like a radish. You know, if you take away the heat from a radish, there's quite a distinctive flavour under there. It's got that flavour, but it's sweet. Yeah, basically it's really tasty, and they're incredible in a salad. I'm actually preferring the seed pods to the radishes themselves. So all of these ones along here basically that didn't, so we picked a lot of them. So what we didn't pick I just left in, and that's what we've got. So I'm pretty pleased with that, really. And the other thing about it is, so for each seed that you put in the ground, you get 1 radish, if you're lucky. Some of them don't germinate, but if they all germinate, you get 1 radish. If you let them go to seed, you get about 30, 40 little nuggets of joy from each seed. So seems to me pretty obvious that this is the way forward. Well, they're fantastic. morning. So yesterday Mum and I recorded a tomato tasting, and this one was my favourite cherry. Look how prolific it is though. I don't know if you watched it. It was called Garnet, this one. It was like a richer flavour than the Sun Gold. Less sweet, but really, really tasty, and a beautiful little tomato. But you can see how prolific it is. It's absolutely nuts. I think it's a great plant. This morning we are going to be clearing this bed, which has got the second early potatoes in. This row that I'm just digging here is a variety called Wilger. We cut the tops off about 2 weeks ago now because they started going a bit funny, and you get the blight fear. You know, the moment anything happens to the tops of the potatoes, it's like panic, 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 quick, cut them off, cut them off. So we did. But no sign of blight underneath, so I think we were just a bit overzealous and they were probably just a bit hot and dry. But there seems to be loads of potatoes under here, and the reason we're clearing the bed is we are going to be planting Simidirapa. We're not going to be sowing the seed until the end of the month, but we thought, well, we may as well get it ready now. And also I need to lime the soil because of the club root problem, and Simidirapa is a brassica. Yeah, there's some real whoppers in there. I'm really pleased, actually. Couple of jackets. Perfect. And they're pretty clean. I mean, there's no sign of blight at all. That was obviously just panic stations. And look, a little bit rough on the... Oh, not allowed that one. Yeah, a little bit rough on the surface, but not too bad. Yeah, lovely potatoes, really.
Lime, I think.
And why is it when you're digging up potatoes there is always a stone in there specifically designed to look like a potato? We generally don't dig over our beds, like, you know, destroying the soil structure. But obviously with potatoes it's slightly different because you have to dig them out, and then after we have dug them, we just rake them. Yeah. This is the lime that I'm putting down. We've got really acidic soil, and the clubroot really thrives in that kind of environment. So just liming it over in preparation for sowing the Simidirapa, which we will do at the end of August. Okay, Sweetcorn. These are the younger ones. You can see they are just starting up down here, but we've got some much larger ones on the other side, and I have a feeling that they're going to be really badly fertilised, pollinated. You know, they're not going to be perfect because we've got a cage around these guys to stop the badgers. But when I first put the cage on, I had a roof over it and they grew through it, and so as the wind was blowing, it wasn't taking any of that pollen down below. So we've since taken it off, but I think these really early cobs are going to have suffered a bit from that. Yeah, just break it off. Twist it. Yep. Perfect. Well, it looks good anyway. Do you want to open it up? I'm expecting it to be pretty poor in there. Oh, actually, it looks all right. What's it looking like? Turn it around. Oh yeah, okay, so the top's not so great, and it's a bit higgledy-piggledy, but lovely earwig. But that's all right. Well, it is Monday, and I'm only going up to the allotment to check on the chickens today. It's just too hot, and I am not designed for this sort of weather. So I'm just sitting outside at home in the cool, in the shady part of the garden, and trying to survive, basically. Yeah, so it's Monday, the first day of National Allotment Week, which is quite nice. So there'll be a lot about that around, I assume, this coming week. I've got so many seedlings to plant out. I've got masses of beetroot, masses of new little baby turnips. There's quite a lot of dill, things like that, which need to be planted out, but there was just no way of putting them out in this weather. They would have just fried instantly. So they are all on hold, busy getting bigger and bigger in their little cell trays. What else I've discovered is that the compost, our compost, is absolutely full of tomato seeds. Like, there's always a few, but I've never seen anything like it. Like, we've sown in it, and basically half of what's come up is tomato seed. Have a look at this. Can you see? Beetroot, beetroot, all the beautiful colour stems, and then what's this? Tomatoes. 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 And it's the same outside. These are the turnips and more beetroot. Hello, darling. Are you a bit hot, Bubba? A bit hot. Yeah, these are the beetroot, and can you see how many tomatoes are in here? Ding the pring! Bit hot, isn't it, darling? So that's going to be fun next year, isn't it? Yeah, I've never known it to be that bad. So that's going to be quite interesting. I'm hoping that we've got a couple more days of this kind of weather, and then we're going back down to, well, it's going to stay hot, but it's going to be thunderstorms, so it's going to be moody. So I have no idea what I'm going to get up to next week. So what did we do this week? The sweetcorn, by the way, was, although it wasn't perfect, it was absolutely delicious. And I'm pretty sure that the ones that are coming up next, like the smaller ones, are going to be absolutely perfect. It's just that, yeah, the cage that we put round was a bit, I didn't realise they were going to get as tall as they did. Last year's sweetcorn was a bit puny, so it never reached that high, and the cage was absolutely fine. But this time round, they're happier. So yeah, so they grew up through the top of it, and obviously that interrupted their pollination. But I'm sure the next lot will be absolutely fine. Strange about the beans. The runner beans are going fine, but like I say, the French beans are, they're just so slow. And it's not just mine either. Like everybody I've spoken to on my allotment site has had a real problem with French beans this year. So I don't know what's going on. It's probably weather, but still, it's not ideal because I love them. But basically how it's been this week is just too hot to do anything. It's just been like trying to maintain, really. We've been watering like crazy, going up either really super early like you've seen at like 6 o'clock, or not going up until like after dinner basically. So we're getting the watering done. Some of the aubergines really did suffer yesterday. Yesterday evening they were looking pretty sad, so they've had a good water. Next week I've got to make some more comfrey feed, but I probably won't video that because I've already done it. The dolmas were a huge success. They were so good, so I am putting the recipe for that online this evening. That was really fantastic. Also, like, who doesn't love deep fried halloumi and breadcrumbs? Something else we made this week with that beetroot that I picked was a beetroot carpaccio, which was really tasty, which is just raw, very fine sliced beetroot with like a mustard mayonnaise on top. That was really fine. So basically this time of year it's just like, how many different ways can we eat the veg? So it becomes quite an adventure trying to find different ways of eating them. What I've got to eat next week is some cabbage, so if anybody's got any recommendations for something really exciting to do with cabbage. Last one I picked, I turned into, you know when you go to the kebab shop and they've got that really fine sliced white cabbage? I love that stuff. Anyway, found out it's well easy to make and it tastes exactly like it does from the kebab shop. So it's just fine shredded cabbage, lemon juice, olive oil and salt, like you would never guess, but it is, and it's delicious. I could just eat a whole bowl of that, so I probably will just eat a whole bowl of that. What else is on the cards for next week? Well, like I say, it's going to be thunderstorms, so who knows. This week has been a little bit of a write-off in terms of getting much done up the plot, so it's a slightly shorter vlog this week. I don't know if you saw it, but on Saturday I put out a video of Mum and I doing the tomato tasting. It was only of 13 varieties out of the 17 that we're growing this year, but that was what we had ready. So give that a watch if you're interested. Well, I think that's my cue to leave. I am going to get a gin and tonic and sit in the shade on the sun lounger out there and probably do very little for the rest of the day. I'm quite looking forward to it. So if you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up, or if you haven't, hit the subscribe button. I will be around on Instagram for the rest of the week, and if I don't see you over there, I will see you here this time next week.